Alright folks, get ready, because we're diving headfirst into a swamp of corruption, betrayal, and outright chaos that's rocking the South African police service to its core. If you thought the SAPS was a mess before, wait until you hear what's been bubbling up since Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi dropped a bombshell on July 6th, 2025. This isn't just another day in the office for South Africa's top cops. It's a bloody disgrace, and it's got the National Police Minister Machunu, Deputy National Commissioner Cibia, and forensic investigator Paul O'Sullivan scrambling like roaches when the lights come on. So, grab a cup of strong coffee, because we're about to unpack how these blokes have compromised themselves, how their words to the media have painted them into a corner, and why this whole saga is a slap in the face to every South African who's sick and tired of crime and corruption running riot. Ready? Let's get stuck in. Picture this. A KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner, Mkhwanazi, steps up to the mic, flanked by armed, masked Special Task Force members, looking like he's ready to storm a fortress. He's not here to play nice. He's combat ready, he says, willing to die for the badge, and he's got a story to tell that makes your blood boil. Mkhwanazi accuses none other than Police Minister Machunu and Deputy Commissioner Cibia of meddling in police work, shutting down a critical task team investigating political killings and, wait for it, cozying up to criminal syndicates. Yeah, you heard that right. The very people meant to protect us are, according to Mkhwanazi, shielding drug cartels and dodgy politicians. He's got evidence, he claims, from cell phone data linking Machunu's associates to the criminal underworld. And those 121 case dockets the task team was working on, yanked away by Cibia, allegedly on Machunu's orders, and left to gather dust in Pretoria. This isn't just incompetence, it's sabotage. Plain and simple. Now, let's talk about Machunu. Here's a man who's supposed to be the big boss, the one steering the SAPS to keep South Africans safe. But what does he do when Mkhwanazi calls him out? He doesn't come out swinging with proof to clear his name. No. He issues a limp statement, calling Mkhwanazi's claims wild allegations and promising to review them. Review, mate? That's the kind of response you give when someone nicks your parking spot, not when you're accused of protecting criminals. Machunu's got the gall to say he's committed to the rule of law, but his silence on the specifics is deafening. Why not open the books, show us the evidence, and prove Mkhwanazi wrong? Because, let's be honest, if you're clean, you don't hide behind vague press releases. You step up and shut it down. His refusal to engage directly with the allegations is a dead giveaway. He's compromised, and he knows it. The economic freedom fighters hit the nail on the head when they said if Machunu had any self-respect, he'd have resigned by now. But nah, he's clinging to his title like a barnacle on a sinking ship. What do you reckon, folks? Does that sound like a man with nothing to hide? Then we've got Cibia, the Deputy National Commissioner for Crime Detection, who's supposed to be the brains behind catching the bad guys. Mkhwanazi didn't mince words, labeling him a criminal who's undermining investigations. Cibia's response? A masterclass in dodging the issue. He goes on SAPS News, all indignant, saying Mkhwanazi's claims make no sense and challenging him to show the evidence. I give him permission to share it, he says, as if he's doing us all a favor. Permission? Brew, you're a senior cop. Your job is to be transparent, not to play gatekeeper with the truth. Cibia tries to flip the script, accusing Mkhwanazi of being a warlord and throwing shade about the arrest of crime intelligence boss Dumisani Khumalo. He even claims credit for progress in the AKA murder case, which Mkhwanazi was also working on. Sounds like a man trying to deflect attention, doesn't it? Cibia's been in the game for 37 years, he says, but if he's spent that time pulling stunts like archiving 121 dockets to protect the powerful, then maybe it's time he packs it in. What's your take? Can a cop who's dodging allegations like this still be trusted to fight crime? And then there's Paul O'Sullivan, the forensic investigator who fancies himself a crusader against corruption. You'd think he'd be cheering Mkhwanazi on for exposing the rot, but no, he's out here baying for the commissioner's blood. O'Sullivan's on Newsroom Africa spitting venom, saying Mkhwanazi overstepped his mark and should be suspended. He's got a problem with Mkhwanazi's press briefing, calling it unauthorized, and, get this, he's even moaning about the man's choice of uniform. Apparently, Mkhwanazi wearing special task force gear and standing with armed officers is suspicious and looks like a coup attempt. A coup? Really, Paul? That's the kind of hyperbole you'd expect from a tabloid, not a so-called expert. O'Sullivan's written to Machunu and President Ramaphosa, demanding a judicial inquiry and suspensions for both Mkhwanazi and National Commissioner Fanny Masemola. Hang on a sec. Why is a private investigator so keen to protect the same minister and deputy commissioner who've been accused of shielding criminals? Smells fishy, doesn't it? O'Sullivan's loudmouth routine is starting to look like a desperate attempt to muddy the waters and keep the spotlight off Machunu and Cibia. If he's really about fighting corruption, why is he attacking the one cop brave enough to call it out? Makes you wonder whose side he's really on. Let's zoom out for a moment. This isn't just about three blokes bickering on TV. This is about a police service that's meant to protect over 60 million South Africans, but is instead rotting from the inside out. Mkhwanazi's task team, before it was shut down, investigated 612 dockets, arrested 436 suspects, and secured 128 convictions, including 29 life sentences. That's real work, tangible results, and it was making headway against political killings in KZN, but the moment it started sniffing around a syndicate involving politicians, top cops and prosecutors, it got axed. Coincidence? I don't think so. The MK party's calling for Mkhwanazi and Cibia's arrest, and the EFF saying the SAPS is a chief crime syndicate. Even the DA's Ian Cameron is demanding a parliamentary debate on this mess. When political parties across the spectrum are this riled up, you know something's seriously wrong. So, why should we care? Because every day this circus continues. Criminals walk free, and ordinary South Africans live in fear. How many more murders, how many more hijackings, before someone takes responsibility? The ANC government's fingerprints are all over this. For years they've let the SAPS slide into a pit of corruption and mismanagement. Remember the days when we thought Becky Cele was the problem? Well, Machunu's making him look like a saint. The fact that President Ramaphosa's only response so far is a vague promise to deal with it from a BRICS summit in Brazil is a joke. Deal with it how, Cyril? By appointing another task team to investigate the task team that got disbanded? The ANC's been in power for over 3 decades, and what do we have to show for it? A police service where the top brass are at each other's throats, dockets disappear, and the minister's too busy reviewing allegations to actually do his job. It's a betrayal of every South African who's ever had to lock their doors at night or pray their kids make it home safe. Aren't you fed up with this nonsense? Let's not kid ourselves. This isn't just a South African problem, it's a national disgrace. Mkhwanazi's allegations point to a syndicate that's not just local but tied to Gauteng, involving MPs, prosecutors, and even the judiciary. If that's true, we're not just talking about a few bad apples, we're talking about a whole rotten orchard. And yet, Machunu and Cibia are out here playing the victim, while O'Sullivan's trying to spin this into a personal vendetta against Mkhwanazi. It's pathetic. The public deserves answers, not excuses. Why were those dockets archived? Who's protecting who? And why is a private investigator like O'Sullivan so quick to defend the very people accused of colluding with criminals? These are the questions that keep me up at night, and they should keep you up too. So, what now? We can't just sit back and watch this unfold like it's some telenovela. The SAPS is on its knees and the ANC's too busy with its own infighting to care. Mkhwanazi's taken a massive risk by speaking out. He's put his career, maybe even his life, on the line. The least we can do is back him up. Demand accountability. Demand that Machunu and Cibia come clean or step down. Demand that Ramaphosa stops jet-setting and starts cleaning house. And as for O'Sullivan, maybe it's time he picks a side, corruption or justice. Because right now his grandstanding is doing more harm than good. What do you think? Should we let these guys keep dodging the truth, or is it time to turn up the heat? Right, folks, if you're as angry about this as I am, don't just sit there, do something about it. Join our channel membership to keep the conversation going and support our fight for the truth. If you can, drop a super thanks donation to help us keep the lights on. And if you're watching this with ads, let them play for at least 30 seconds. It's a small way to back us up. Most importantly, hit that subscribe button, give us a like, share this with everyone you know, and drop a comment below to tell us what you think about this mess. It costs you nothing to get involved, so go on, do it now. Let's make some noise and hold these jokers accountable. South Africa deserves better.